Good morning and welcome to Business Daily right here on Trust Television. I am Yusuf. Akogu. We begin with the top business stories. Glad to have you back. Now we quickly look at the global oil prices to see how they are faring today. Of course, oil prices is steady in the trading on Wednesday after falling in the previous trading session on concerns that new U.S. tariffs set to be unveiled at later today around 8 p.m. may deepen a global trade war that could limit crude demand. Of course, if you look at the current prices, the Brent global benchmark went down 0.59%. It lost about 44 cents. It currently trades at $74.02 there per barrel. Of course, the OPEC basket remained flat as there have been no much trading activities in that sector since the public holiday. Of course, the trading should resume later this week, where we'll update you about how the price movement is going in the global energy market today. Of course, that is that with regards to crude oil price. We're looking at a very important topic of discussion for today. Of course, late last night, there was a press release from the presidency about sacking the NNPCL former GMD now, Mele Kyari. And of course, the new board was reconstituted. Of course, we're now having the new GMD now is Engineer Ojulari, who has been appointed now as the GCO, talking about the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria National Petroleum Limited, there, taking over from the outgoing GMD, GCO rather, Mele Kyari. We also look at issues around the CBN. There was a report that 23 billion net foreign reserves. Of course, we are adding that to. Of course, that is the report from the GMD. We're having that appreciation in terms of our foreign reserve. It's a very good one from the Central Bank of Nigeria. We'll look at those two topics on our discussion for today. And my guest, Dr. Aliyu Audu, is an economist. He will join me virtually from Abuja here after this very short break. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. Of course, before we went on that very short break, I did mention the fact that the president has reconstituted the NNPC board, sacking Mele Kyari and all other directors. Of course, the new one has been appointed there. The new board will be led by Engineer Ojulari, who is now going to be the new GCO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Let's look at how the Group Managing Directors of NNPCL till date, how it all started. It started in 1977 when we had Remileku A. Mariho, who is more like the first GC or GMD rather of the NNPC. Of course, we have between 1980 to 1981, we have Odili Lamori, of course, 85 Lawrence Amu, between 85-90 Aaron James, Aaron Adams, I beg your pardon, Thomas John, Edmond Dakoru, Chambalino Yibo. I can't mention all the dates because of time. Of course, Dahatu Bayero, 1995 to 1999, Giles Obaseki, Funsho Kukoloko, Abubakar Yaradua, Mohamed Brekindo, of course, Shehu Ladan, Augustine Ooniwo, Andrew Yakubu, Joseph Talma Dawa, of course, Ibe Kachuku, of course, Mekanti Baro, before Mele Kyari, who is now the outgoing GCO. Of course, we have a Bayo, the new one now, Bayo Bashir Ujulari, who is now taking over from Mele Kyari as the new GCO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Let's put this in proper perspective. We're looking at two topics today. Like I said earlier, we're looking at the briefly about the reaction to the sacking of the NNPC GCO, and of course the issue around Nigerian foreign exchange reserves. A report from the Central Bank of Nigeria. My guest, Dr. Aliyu Audu, he's an economist. He joins me virtually from Abuja here. Good morning, Dr. Aliyu.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very well. Good to hear from you, sir. Let's quickly get your reaction to the new board. It came very late yesterday. The president sacking Mele Kyari. Did you see that coming?
Well, I didn't, because I believe it was top secret. I didn't. I thought everything was going well, especially the exchange between Dangote and NNPCL in recent times, in terms of the price war battle of oil. So I never saw that coming, unfortunately.
Mele Kyari is let go because of his inability to resolve those crises that you mentioned.
Well, I think that's what I thought. Of course, there's been a lot of issues, because recently we heard that the dollar to naira purchase of the crude oil from Dangote refinery has been stopped. So I sensed there was going to be an issue there, because later on Dangote came out and said he was going to start selling his petroleum products in dollars, and I don't think that would augur well for us, because how do you be in Nigeria and transact in dollars? I think these are the crises that has finally engulfed the former GMD of NNPC. Perhaps he's not been able to handle it, because we are just coming from a period of inflation, a period of uncertainty in terms of the economy, especially after the taking out of the subsidy. So we need to look for a more stable economy, a more stable future. And if the GMD is not offering Nigerians that, then what can you say? Maybe the president has to do what he has to do. Thank you.
Indeed, the president has to do what he has to do, because the oil is very critical to the economy. Let's get your expectation from the new board now that has been reconstituted. Of course, we have the new GCO now, Bayo Bashir Ojulari, who is taking over from Mele Kyari. What is your expectation for this new board? What do you think should be their immediate responsibility?
Price stability, reduction in price of petroleum products. That is what Nigerians want. That is what we want, because in recent times there's been huge inflation, price inflation, and a lot of Nigerians have been complaining. And inflation, Nigeria, in this country is driven primarily by one product, which is oil. So an increment in price of oil, an increment in price of petrol translates to an increment in goods, in the price of goods and services. So we are looking for stability. So I believe, and I would tax the new board that what we're looking for is stability in the oil industry, price stability. And if possible, we would like to see a reduction in the price of oil. I don't know them before. I don't know his track record. I believe he used to be the MD of Shell, and I wish him well. That's all I can say for now.
Indeed, you wish him well there. So that's a very good way to welcome the new, of course, GCO of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL there. Of course, you've given him a very huge task. I would say price stability, which is key to this our economic growth and indeed development there. Let's move on now. Look at the issues around the Central Bank of Nigeria. Of course, the CBN has reported a net foreign reserves of $23.11 billion. That is as of 2024. If you look at that report, it came out yesterday, marking the highest level in over 3 years. What do you think the current CBN management is doing differently to achieve this height?
Well, I feel that after going through their explanations and doing a little bit of research, I understand that there's been a reduction in foreign exchange transactions in terms of swaps and forwards. That is on one aspect. And also, there has been an increase in exports transactions. And this has led to an increase in foreign exchange. So if we're exporting more, especially in agriculture and solid minerals, then we are going to get more foreign exchange. And this is why our foreign reserve is increasing. So I believe these are the primary reasons that foreign reserve has increased in the last couple of months. Thank you very much.
Indeed, a very good one. If you look at what the CBN is saying, they are saying that the increase is a reflection of improved external liquidity, reduced short-term obligations, and renewed investors' confidence in Nigeria's economy. Are we not painting the same narrative that seems not to have worked over the years?
Well, I believe perhaps they are doing it better, and I'm not. It can be a good and bad thing, because first of all, if we're not engaging in too much transaction, which is forward, swap and forward, meaning that the businessmen are not being able to transact their businesses, and as such, the good thing about it is that this money that would have used to carry out transaction is now being saved in the coffers of the CBN, which will lead to an increase in our foreign reserve. Again, I've always promoted our that we should increase our export, especially in agriculture. Nigeria is one of the biggest agrarian countries in terms of land space, and we should be able to feed ourselves. Currently, we import sugar, we import milk, we import meat. We have a food import bill of $10 billion every year. We can feed ourselves. Why are we importing sugar? Burkina Faso produces their sugar. Senegal produces sugar for local consumption and even exports sugar. So we have no business importing what we consume. So I believe there have been some export-led policies that the government is using, and that is driving export, which is good news, which improves our balance of payments and reduces our balance of payments deficit, increases our foreign reserve, makes Nigeria more reliant, reduces the pressure on the dollar, because we will start earning dollars rather than spending dollars. So these policies go a long way into improving the economy. Let's be an export-driven country. Let's stop importing everything we eat. We have a food import bill of $10 billion. That needs to be reduced. Let's source everything we eat locally. Let's produce our sugar, let's produce our milk, and what have you. We need to look inwards. That is the only way we can get better. Other countries are doing it. Look at Israel, for example. Israel doesn't even have a good agricultural land, but they are, being able to feed themselves. We have, if you eat mango and throw it at the back of your garden, it's going to germinate. We are blessed with good soil, rich soil. We have food basket states in Nigeria. What is the reason why we are not producing? Why it is the reason why we are not feeding ourselves? So we need to look inwards, and the government needs to come up with better policies for us to drive this export. Our main export should not be oil; it should be agricultural products. Nigeria can do it, and we're going to get there, and that is where our focus should be. And I believe we'll get there if we keep improving on agricultural policy. Thank you very much.
Indeed, that's a very good one there. A very good point that you have raised. Why is it that we cannot feed ourselves despite the vast opportunity we have in agriculture? There, like you rightly pointed out. But some people also want to ask again, argue with you that the last government, closed the border. Stopped some importation of some goods and some goods into the country. But yet, we saw the price of those commodities skyrocketed because our local production was unable to meet the market demand. What do you think is really, really responsible? Is there a missing link that we are not addressing as a nation?
Yes, there is a missing link. The missing link is that we have a lot of land, but we don't have enough of policies. We don't have enough programs to drive farming. We have a lot of land everywhere you go. Even last week, I have a lot of farmers telling me, come and invest in us. We are producing mango, we are producing watermelon, come and invest in us. I went and I was speaking to some foreign investors in the UK to come and invest in some farm in the south. So we have the land, but we don't have the right policies. We need to invest more in agriculture. Garbage in, garbage out. Agriculture should be where it should carry majority of the budget, because we should learn to feed ourselves. A hungry nation cannot progress. Let's start from agriculture. Using the concept of comparative cost advantage. Invest in what you have advantage in. We have an advantage in agriculture, and we're not putting the right policies, we're not putting the right investments in agriculture, and that's why we're getting small results from agricultural production. That's why our export is increasing, but not by as much as it should increase. So we need to invest more in agriculture. We need to drive agriculture. We need to have the right policies to partner with farmers, because there's a lot of land, but we don't have mechanized farming. They can't afford tractors. They can't afford the right fertilizer and what have you. So this is where we're getting it wrong. We are not driving the right policies. Let's go to Brazil. Let's go to Chile. Chile in the 80s and the 90s was a principal example the World Bank used to tell countries, especially developing countries, on how to improve agriculture. If we can adopt these policies, we will feed ourselves. Not only we are going to feed ourselves, we are going to feed Africa, and we are going to feed Europe and export and foreign exchange. This is the reason why you see our foreign exchange reserve is increasing, because there's been increased production in agriculture. So I urge the CBN to bring in more policies, to have the right people in the right places to drive agriculture. No question we're a blessed country, because countries like Israel, South Korea, and a lot of other countries that don't even have good soil are feeding themselves. How about us, that we have good soil, we have everything we need? You eat mango today, you throw it at the back of your garden, it's going to germinate. So we are blessed. We should focus on agricultural growth. We should invest in agricultural growth, and Nigeria will get there. Money that we have made from oil should be put into agriculture. In the north, Kano most especially, we had the granite pyramids, and these went a long way to bringing in foreign exchange when we export them. This is what we want to bring back. Look at, before we were relying on foreign rice. We were the second largest importer of rice. We were second to the European Union. But today is a different story. Nigeria is now producing rice. Our rice don't have stones anymore. Local rice are competing with foreign rice. We can replicate that in other areas. In sugar most especially. In milk, in other areas. So Let's put in the right policies to drive agriculture. And we have a lot of unemployment. So why can't we partner with the unemployed youths, with the unemployed people, with the unemployed farmers, and invest and increase agriculture? I believe we can do it, and the government has started, and more can be done. Thank you very much.
Indeed, more can be done there. Before we go, let's quickly look at the CBN new reserve figure as well. If you look at the 23.11 billion naira, it actually represents a recovery from 3.99 billion in 2023, 8.19 billion in 2022, and 14.59 billion dollars in 2021. But let's look at the impact of this increment in reserves on the value of the naira. Are you happy with where the naira currently is now against the dollar?
No, I'm not. I think right now it's about 1,500, 1,600 to the dollar. I'm not happy. I want it to go lower. And the only way it can go lower is if we start improving local content, if we start improving local production, if we start investing in Nigeria. Now, the more we demand for imported goods and services, we import cars. Everybody wants to drive a Toyota. Everybody wants to drive a Mercedes. What happened to the Peugeot car plants we used to have in Kaduna? What happened to Innocent Motors? We should have policies to drive local content. In one of those policies, we should encourage local production. Now, today you see America is putting embargo on people that want to buy tariffs on foreign cars. That is what we should be doing. We should improve local production in terms of Innocent Motors and encourage car plants and manufacturers to set up in Nigeria, and then that should serve the local market, create employment for Nigerians, drive of all official cars of anybody in government should be made in Nigerian car, like Innocent or any assembly that are set up in Nigeria. We cannot, at this stage of development, at this stage of economic growth, at this stage of economic centrism, start importing cars, importing Toyota cars. Why do we need Toyota cars? Why can't we encourage local content? Why can't we create jobs for Nigerians? Why can't we support Innocent Motors to build manufacturing plants in Kano, in Kaduna, in Cross River, and all over Nigeria, so that we can drive local content, we can have made in Nigerian products. Have a look at Innocent Motors is even making a car that looks like G-Wagon. And we are just ignoring local production. The other day, I saw the president and somebody was taking him around about a local car manufacturer that manufactures cars. Even my younger brother manufactures electric cars, made in Nigeria electric cars. Let's look inwards. The time is running out for Nigerians.
Indeed.
For Nigeria, we need to look inwards. We need to help Nigeria. We need to take Nigeria to the promised land. And the only way we can do it is by supporting local content. That is what Trump is doing now. He's putting a tariff on all imported cars and protecting American cars. If Trump, the president of America that is doing extremely well, is doing that to protect their own local industries, why we Nigerians are not doing that? Why are we not doing that?
Indeed.
So that is the problem. We need to protect our local producers. Let's get rid of Toyotas. At least let the government officials start. Charity begins at home.
At home, absolutely.
Let the government officials start. If you're an official government employee, you should drive Innocent Motors. Let's improve, let's support local content. Thank you very much.
Indeed, that's a very strong message that you've sent to the federal government, and I'm sure they will take some of the recommendation that you have read. I must thank you for your time. Dr. Aliyu Audu is an economist speaking to us all the way from Abuja. A very elaborate explanation there, that he gave us on issues around, especially with regards to patronizing local content. Thank you for your time, Dr. Aliyu Audu.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.